We felt it would give us the best access to the strongest possible group of senior insurance decision makers.
Insurtech Insights is a must-do conference, I think, for the network that is built here.
Thank you. So, can you build a car while you're racing? This is exactly the question we ask every day. What is racing all about? So ever since Netflix made Formula One cool, I joined the club. And I realized in this sport, tweaking the engine in the middle of the race is not a disaster, it's a strategic choice. I'm Sofia Kyriakopoulou. I'm the Group Chief Technology, Data and AI Officer at SCOR. And our ambition is to build leading data and AI capabilities while running at full speed. In the AI era, there's no time to pull over. The race is on, and we have to keep tuning the engine, adding parts, optimizing for performance while running at 300 kilometers per hour. This is the mindset that can get us from vision to value at speed. So in our business, we insure risks that unfold over generations. We take policies whose impact stretches 20, 30, 50 years into the future. We take on liabilities that last as long as people live, sometimes half a century or more. We help pension schemes transfer obligations that span decades, even lifetimes, commitments that outlast technology changes, leadership changes, market regimes. So insurance is designed for the long game and thrives on stability. And here comes AI at lightning speed that thrives on agility. And this brings me to SCOR. So we are a reinsurance, a leading one, in a business that has been built for decades. So what happens when a business built for the decades meets an era measured in seconds? So that's the paradox we face as an industry, and at SCOR, this is the opportunity we embrace. And we have a playbook to make it happen. So I think we have to start from how winning looks like. What is ultimately the objective, right? That's our starting grid. And then we build a standalone version, something that can merely run, a chassis. Then we mount this to a data and AI foundation, and we imagine this as putting on pedals and controls. And then we offer this to the hands of a user in a workbench, in a cockpit, so that they can take it for a spin. And then we start tuning on the sensors, the telemetry starts to work. And we get those feedback loops, lap on lap, that allow us to optimize and improve. So today, this is how SCOR stays nimble, smart, and fast, building the future while we're racing at full speed. So I'm speaking about speed, but I promise today I'm also going to be speaking about value. So where is value in reinsurance, right? These days, I think the world is flooded with reports about ROI, return on investment, was also discussed at the previous panel. Millions of pages have been written, some of them probably by dear consultants who are here in the room today. So where is the value? In my view, indeed, right, few companies can turn this promise into reality. But if there's one mantra that matters in the AI era, is to be really relentless about the KPI that matters for us as a company. Not following the long tail of use cases, not the shiny projects, the vanity ones, right? These are ultimately a distraction. So if we have one recipe, is to be relentless about what matters for us from a strategic perspective and apply every rigor that we have through the famous objective key results and measure. So is there value in reinsurance? In my view, for sure there is inefficiency. Is this the ultimate prize? Probably no. But this is the fuel that can keep us going. Effectiveness, this is where it starts to get juicy, right? This is once you can start to influence the decisions, the human judgment. And where are those decisions in reinsurance? For sure, as we take on risk. And some of the most important decisions that we take are at the portfolio level. How do we steer our risk selection? And then at the balance sheet level. And then it becomes even more interesting, right? Everybody has been talking about augmented underwriting. It's the new paradigm that keeps us all busy. And this nicely combines efficiency and effectiveness, yet at the execution level. And we have been bringing this to life. So everything that I've covered so far is a very nice strategic approach, but at the end of the day, it only matters if people experience the value. So AI for our company is already changing underwriting and claims, and SCOR is moving at full speed with it. So when I presented this approach last year, I said it's already live. But ever since, we have deepened it, we have expanded it, and now we have started to see the value. And that's the story I want to share with you today and show you how we have done it, how we believe we can accelerate underwriting assessments, and how can we ultimately elevate and amplify our experts. So what's our starting point? This will look familiar. For those of you who were here last year, it's a classic underwriting flow. Most of the cases, they're submitted, they follow the happy path, all good, and probably this applies to 70% of the business. This is from life and health, but similar probably is at property and casualty. But then there's this 30% that doesn't follow the happy path. Something needs to be assessed. So we need a referral, lands at the hands of the underwriter. Maybe he has enough evidence, maybe not. He has to go and obtain it, and then he's going to assess again, and then comes the decision. What's wrong with it? Probably it's obvious. This is quite time-consuming. But also, the humans are not that consistent. The underwriters don't recall what they did in a previous similar case, and their memory often lacks what was the performance of such cases once these were assessed. So can we do better than that? An obvious choice is, yes, we could. We could add AI at the evidence as this is being submitted. We could extract a few key things. We could summarize them. It's already bringing automation. But as a matter of fact, we can do way better than that. And we can start to reimagine this entire process. And after our AI is added, we can already start to trigger the underwriting engines. We could go and collect any past information we want to consider. We could synthesize it all together, and only then we put it at the hands of the underwriter. So what's important is that the AI stays there, is an actor in that chain. They are the one, right, that take the ultimate decision, but they're massively amplified by the information that now they have on their fingertips. And we have turned this into a product. We call it AI Assistant. It is being used internally by hundreds of underwriters, claims experts, and we also offer it to our clients through SCOR Digital Solutions. And here's how our journey started. As I mentioned, first step, data capture. Can we extract information? So the AI captures all the essential information as it arrives from the medical records, from the health files, the family history, the risks, the vitals, etc. It nicely synthesizes all that. And for us, this was not a trivial step, right? This was our first step towards what is being called the digital twin. Not a small feat, but that was last year. Then we were able to start link that with an underwriter's decision, as I alluded to. So in this example, a case is submitted. It's somebody who has apnea. the evidence is being assessed, and slowly we see how the underwriter is being guided towards their decision. Do we find an associated disease? In that case, could be a cardiac arrest. Well, we have to reject. Do we need additional evidence? Well, let's go and get it. And you see, right, how the decision starts to be standardized and guided by AI. And this brings us to today. So what we are currently able to do is to bring to life this emerging paradigm that everybody is excited about, augmented underwriting, which to us is a reimagined underwriting journey. And we amplify the humans in an AI-generated decision-making fashion. So in our screen here, AI Assistant is showing how ultimately we bring at the fingertips of the underwriters all that we possibly know about the case. How does it compare to other cases? Any anomalies that have been detected? All the associated evidence. Everything that they should know that matters for this decision. And what is also exciting about it is the magic that happens in the back, how documents have been auto-analyzed, how information has been extracted, and how this screen is ultimately curated to surface what uniquely matters for the underwriter to consider. And behind that, right, of course, is the agentic paradigm of how those workflows start to become AI-powered workflows. So this, for us, is expediting massively the underwriting process, involving all the associated actors, how it is reducing the touch time for the underwriter, and how it is omitting, ultimately, tasks that have been mechanical and tedious. So from vision to life, we started by a very strong technical setup. This is what enables us ultimately to dream. So our models are being calibrated by millions of data points that we have been collected by all the associated documents we possess. And today we can say that almost 99% of anomalies that have been detected can be covered. And this gives us confidence that we can deliver accuracy of over 90%. Is this enough? Well, the system have to be continually optimized, and for us to achieve that, we're adding multi-level validation modules that help us handle the notorious hallucinations, and also we are grounding the system to our actual underwriting guidelines. It's not just pattern recognition. And then this is where the value starts to become visible. Our underwriters who are using today underwriting AI Assistant or its Asian sister product that we call Underwriting X are seeing 30 to 40% savings in the time that they spend, but also they benefit from more consistent and traceable decisions. And we have accelerated the training for the new joiners, the junior underwriters that are coming in, who then can standardize their thinking and their decision process. So instead of spending time on the mechanical, the extraction of data, the cross-validation, people can spend the time on what truly matters, handling the complex cases, applying the judgment, and ultimately spending time with the clients. So this is what is transforming for us underwriting, and that's how, in my view, delivering value at speed looks like. And if you think this is exciting, I have to say this is probably 1/10 of what we have been doing, but I wish I could show you the rest. So we as an industry, insurance, we have certainly come a long way. From the underwriting manuals almost 30 years ago, to the first rule engines, to the first AI models, trying to crack the notorious data capturing, data ingestion, submission, however we call the problem of the bordereaux, to now this exciting paradigm of augmented underwriting that is probably a leap. And that's where technology doesn't just support decisions, it accelerates and elevates them. So the shift, it's clear, huh? It's no longer about tools. It's about reimagining how we operate, how we innovate, how we can ultimately create superior value for our companies and for our clients and for the societies. So what you see today is a small glimpse of what this looks like at SCOR. We are a nimble technical reinsurer, and we are already striving to connect all these dots to what we call holistic risk intelligence. So the future is something that we're no longer preparing for. The future is here. We are in a race, and at SCOR, we're at a Formula One pace. Thank you.
Sofia, thank you very much for the conversation. We have just about 5 minutes now. To take any questions, are there any from the audience? If you could just raise your hand, and I'll run the mic to you.
Hi, that was really fascinating. Thank you. I'd love to know how you approach the building out of that solution in terms of utilizing technology partners or your internal teams and the vast AI landscape. How did you navigate?
So I have to say I couldn't really hear the question. If you could repeat it, maybe you take the mic a little bit closer. Really sorry for that.
Could you tell us how you approach the build out of that in terms of technology landscape, partners, providers, your own teams?
No, thank you. That's indeed a very good question. So I actually have a new role, right? Till probably 3 weeks. I'm also covering technology. And, doing the isolated POC, we realized a few years ago that's easy, you can do it. Scaling it, easier said than done. And I think now we tackle it a bit in this iceberg fashion, if I can call it like that, right? And creating the data and AI foundation is absolutely the prerequisite. And on that, we have been very rigorous. And we have been partnering, right, with companies that help us on that, right? We have Microsoft and Palantir as key partners to achieve it. Also, Databricks plays a central role in our data ecosystem. And through that, we have been able to abstract some of the technology landscape that lies underneath, which includes the notorious legacy systems. And then now what we do as we start to go deeper into this iceberg, we pursue a targeted modernization of those essential pieces of this technology landscape that matter. But for sure, being able to develop at least the standalone version, the chassis that runs, and giving it to the hands of the users in the fastest way possible so that you can obtain feedback, for us is an essential, right? And then we bother with the integration with the IT landscape. So for me, running something that is running on its own 2 feet is absolutely essential. So is it easy to do? No. And the last point I would make, I think AI is in fact a lever for this tech modernization, right? I think the amplification effect is also visible there, right? For those who are technical, if you are writing code these days, I mean, it's astonishing. So I think this is also a huge accelerator in the legacy modernization. Is it helpful?
Sofia had one question on the Q&A. What do you consider the main revenue contributors are other than decreasing ops staff to achieve attractive ROI?
Actually, it's the discussion of the day, right? And I think one has to consider the particularities of reinsurance versus insurance. And we at SCOR, we also actually have a commercial insurer, but we're partnering with our colleagues in this approach. If not, if you already don't know, right, they are today with us, right, in another stage. I think Mari Bigas is going to share a bit of that story. And in that spectrum, the benefits are different in reinsurance from commercial insurance, right? And in insurance, we start to see, as I said, the efficiency from the non-value adding activities. And I think there is a spectrum of efficiency that one could anticipate. And I think that can be measured probably in a J-curve fashion. And you have to invest before you see them, but then you have to rigorously measure them. But in reinsurance, I think efficiency or even scalability is an outcome, but is not the goal. For a commercial insurer, though, the economics are different, right? This is a game where speed matters tremendously. where the time from quote to submission is very essential on the opportunities that we are able to pursue. And second, there definitely a scalability factor, right? And this can also be measurable. Measurable probably on the submissions that you can take in. Maybe you can say on the premium. I don't know if that's the right way. But I think both can be measured. At the end of the day, though, where it becomes way more interesting, in my view, can you measure if you're making better decisions, if you're amplifying the human judgment? And I think there's a KPI that shows that, right? And you can start looking into your loss ratios and see what is the story that is unfolding there. So I don't know if this answers the question. I don't know who was the person posing it.
All right, Sofia, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much
That's all
for
the
having
time
me.
we have for questions.